Hello, a very good morning to you all. It's a very wet morning today. I'm going to be bringing you a lovely little make today. I've named it Ashley, um, and it looks like this. So you're going to be, it's gone very dark. You're going to be able to make a pendant and earrings. This earring doesn't want to stay in the bust. It's like, put me in. So using very twinkly little crystals, lovely little connectors. I think you're making two sets in each kit, and we've got some lovely colours. This one, of course, being the red one. So we've got greens, blues, kind of grey silvers, um, deeper kind of rainbow greens. I'll show you them on the website. You can, of course, see them down on the mat as well, just here. There you go. So you can see we're going to be using these lovely connectors. One with 3 holes for the earrings, and you can see those beautiful opaque shimmers along those, and of course we've got the pendants as well. So we're going to be using a little bit of chain, lots of lovely crystals. We are using the ball pins today, which are my favourite to use. So if you wanted to, you could make wrapped loops with these. Only difference being, if you're making a wrapped loop, add the chain in to the necklace pendants as you go, and you can adjust the chain length to whatever suits you. So there are Ashley makes today. I'm going to take you over to the website very shortly. I'll say a quick good morning to you. Anastasia says, peace and love, Natalie. How was your weekend? It rained here in Atlanta. The weekend's been okay. I've had a very eventful week, to be honest. I've got lots of family ill health and bereavement and all sorts going on, as I'm sure some of you are aware. Kitty has as well. So Kitty, a little while ago, decided she wanted to step back from the lives for personal reasons. Sending her lots of love and thinking of her and keeping her in our thoughts at the moment. Her mummy has passed away as well, so she's over in Hungary at the moment, and she'll be attending her funeral tomorrow. So lots of love and thoughts going out. Other than that, the weekend has been, as I say, lots of stuff going on. So it was much needed. We did go for a little walk yesterday. Sometimes I think when my head's busy, I just need to get in nature. So that's exactly what I did. A little one went on his bike, and we had a quick walk out, and that was it was quite therapeutic. I've seen family. I've played board games with my immediate family, with my little one. He's on half term this week, so I'm going to be busy trying to juggle. A big shout out to my mum, who is looking after him today. Thank you very much. What else were we up to? Just general life stuff, to be honest. You know, washing and cleaning, tidying, cooking, those type of things. Good morning. How was yours, Anastasia? Did you have a nice weekend? I hope you didn't get too wet in the rain. Good morning to Heather. Good morning to Fairness Born. She says it's cold, it's bright in Barrow. We had beautiful sky. I don't know what day it was, but now it's just miserable and chilly. Heather says she's loving all of these. Thank you so much. Izzy says, hi, Natalie. Where have you gone? Where's the comment gone? I was just reading. Watching the Great British Olympic curling with one eye on you and one eye on the other. We've had the Winter Olympics on. I prefer the Winter Olympics to like the usual summer one. I don't know. I think with the summer one, it's kind of like run from there to there. And then for the winter one, it's like, let's hell down a hill head first or something. It seems a little bit more exciting for me to watch, obviously not to take part in those sports. Sheila says, good morning, everybody. A bright morning in Washington time, where she's not got any rain at the moment. Look at you. Good morning to Camille. She says, finally blue sky here. Hope you've had a nice weekend. It was all right. Hello to Celia. She says, morning from a damp Bolton. Looking forward to being able to craft again, having broken a humerus in early January. Oh my goodness. It's called a humerus, and then therefore they say it's your funny bone, don't they? But there's nothing funny about even when you knock it, let alone when you break it. It's the most painful thing. So I hope you're okay, Celia. Wishing you a speedy recovery. I've got loads of beautiful makes lined up. I have been sharing a couple of them that I've been making, and well, shared one for Valentine's Day. Oh, on Valentine's Day, lovely heart connectors. Got some beautiful clover chainmail coming up, which I can't wait to show you. So busy scheduling all that. Joanne says she's woke up to some sun. Now it looks like the clouds are taking over, bracing for more rain. Great for the ducks. I'm frozen. Am I? Can everyone else see me? Good morning to my mum. She says good morning from Mum and Frank. Hello. Janice has got sun in Swansea for a change, she says. Elaine's bright and dry here. So is it just raining where I am? Honestly, you should see out my window. It's almost torrential. Been to bring the bins in this morning. I moved my car in case the skip gets taken. And I didn't want them to come and disturb me in the middle of the live. And then I found somebody's bag, like a little person's bag. Children's bag, so I popped it on the wall, and now I'm thinking I should have probably brought it in because it is heavily raining, so I don't want whatever's in there to be soggy, but I think it's fallen out of a pram, and I thought if I bring it in they won't know it's there. So I have put a post up on my local groups just to say come and get the bag, but I don't know, I'm tempted to go and collect it if it's still there after the live. Anastasia says she loves the ice skating. I do. It reminds me of my nan. Not that my nan could ice skate, maybe she could once upon a time, but she used to like watching it. So yeah, anytime I see it, it just makes me think of her. I've never been able to ice skate or rollerblade. I did used to dance and do gymnastics many moons ago, but I'm used to my head being the heaviest part of my body. Well, it was once upon a time, it's not anymore. And when my feet are the heaviest ones, I've just got no balance whatsoever. Thank you, Joanne. She's sending us lots of love. So I'm back on, am I now, Anastasia? I don't know what's going on. Good morning from sunny Plymouth. For now anyway. So who was watching in Bolton? Because Bolton's not that far from me. It was Celia, wasn't it? Celia, is it raining where you're? Yeah, damp in Bolton. It's just grim up north. But this jewellery is going to be bringing us lots of colour and lots of lovely brightness and twinkle and sparkle. So over we go to totallybeads.co.uk. This is where you find all of our makes. And today we are doing Ashley. So head into the video category. While you're on there, have a little peruse and a little browse as well, because we've got some fabulous offers coming up on at the moment too. So you can see these are all the things that we've been making lately. Today is the Ashley tassel jewellery set. I've called it tassel. It is a tassel, but they're the simplest tassels you will make. I don't know who this lovely lady is. I think this has got to be a sister. So we'll call her Ashley. This is Ashley. She's modelling the jewellery today. Thank you, Simon, for doing those mock-up pictures. So you can see how they would look when they are worn. So in this colourway, I am frozen. Hello. This is your dark green. This is the photograph that I have taken. So this is exactly how it will look. As I say, you can turn your loops there if you want to into wrapped loops. I've just done turned loops using little bits of chain. I'm not adding chain to the earrings, but you can do if you want. You can remove the chain if you want. You can do whatever you want in terms of changing the lengths and things like that. I'll talk you through. I counted the links. So I can measure it out for you if you want to, but I've just counted the links so you can adjust them to the size of how you want. In your kits today, I'm using 4x7 outer diameter jump rings. I'm only using jump rings for the chain and then for attaching the pendant chain and of course the clasp at the back. So in your kit, you're going to get your crystal rondelles. These are a gorgeous colour. I'll show you them down on the mat as well. Absolutely beautiful twinkle. You're going to get your chain, you're going to get your lobster clasp, your ear wires, your headpin balls, your jump rings and these connectors. So the connectors I'm using for the pendant, we've got 5 little loops connecting into one, and for the earrings we've got the same design, that lovely kind of antiqued, kind of patinaed, almost like waves, I think. They're 3 onto 1 connectors. So your kits today are just £6.99, but you're making 2 sets up. So you're going to get 2 pairs of earrings and 2 necklaces for £6.99, which I think is a lovely deal. If you want to see the measurements, I'm not including the sizes of the lobster clasp there. Lobster clasp is 12mm in size. You're going to get your ear wires and your ball pins as well, and your jump rings, as I say, are 4x7 outer diameter. But you've got your chain there, which is a rhodium plated, so it's going to match your ear wires, your pins, and of course those lovely connectors. All your measurements there on the antique silver metal connectors as well. So it's a 5:1 or a 3:1 for the earrings, and they are 12mm in size for the earrings and 21 for the pendants. The crystals, these and this particular colorway is the dark green AB. They're 2.5 by 3.5, so we've got crystal rondelles for you there. That AB is going to make sure you have the most beautiful kind of petrol effect, twinkly, colourful, rainbow type finish. There are purples in there, there are blues, there are greens, but your crystal is predominantly a dark green, and they are absolutely gorgeous. Today, oh, I think they might be my favourite. Though I'm loving the red. I'm loving them all. I'm really liking, well, I'll show you them all and you can choose what your favourite is. So that one is your dark green Ashley tassel set, making 2. For the same price, lovely Ashley is modelling them here. She doesn't look like an Ashley to me. Don't know what she looks like, but we'll call her Ashley because I don't want to confuse things. She's not real. She doesn't care. We'll call her what I want. So here we've got this beautiful colour here. These are your opaque green AB. So they're not dark green. They are a much lighter green. They've still got that kind of AB finish on them. But I would say it shows a little bit more on the on the darker green ones than on the sample that I've got here. Really, really gorgeous. You've got all those kind of goldy kind of twinkles. And then again, same chain and same connectors. So this one here is how they look. Obviously, they look better when worn because these will hang and gravity will help them dangle. And I've just staggered kind of to make these into kind of like a point by adding more crystals and different lengths of chain. I like the movement, so that's why I've added the little jump rings on that one. What I would say is when you're storing these in terms of storage, pop them in a little bag, or if you've got like a jewelry holder that hangs them up, that's just going to stop anything getting tangled together. I just shoved them all together in a bag. It didn't take me too long to untangle them, but that's my top tip. This one is your opaque red. This is absolutely beautiful. This is Ashley wearing her necklace and earrings to show you how it would look. And this is them down on the mat. Again, I love the colours in this. They are predominantly your opaque red, but they've been discounted. That's good. They've got pinks, they've got golds, they've got that lovely AB finish to them again. So if you like a little pop of colour, I think these would be perfect summertime wears, all year round wears really. You can see Ashley's wearing them with a jumper and a t-shirt. This picture here in the silver cloud, that's not Ashley, is it? That's Ashley's sister. I particularly like this colour. This is what I'm going to demonstrate for you today. This is your silver cloud, and they are really, really pretty. I think it looks lovely with that antique silver. So I'm just turning little loops on those today, measuring out some little pieces of chain and just attaching them together. Really straightforward and easy to assemble. And then last but no means least, I think we're back to Ashley again. This is the sky blue set. These are absolutely gorgeous. So you can see how they look. It looks nice with that colour actually. I like her top there. And this is how they actually are. So that little bit of chain, just to change whatever length you want it to sit at. I mean, she's got it wearing it quite low. You can wear it quite high, depending on your neckline. I quite like the fact that we do these little mock-up pictures, or Simon does, because you'll see you can see how it looks with different items of clothing and, you know, how she wears them. They're all £6.99 to make up 2 sets. You've got the dark green, the opaque red, the silver cloud, and the sky blue. So head over to totallybeads.co.uk and you let me know, what is your favourite colourway of these? Is this something you've made before? I have done similar kind of makes where we're creating those tassels with the pins, but I don't know whether I've ever used them on these connectors or in this way. Thank you very much, Heather. That is much appreciated. Joanne says she loves watching the ice skating and the gymnastics. My oldest daughter was all set to be in the Olympics 2012, but she was diagnosed with a joint hypermobility, so couldn't continue, and I'm not frozen. My goodness, Joanne, how exciting. I hope your daughter's okay. What was she doing? Was it gymnastics? Oh, was it ice skating? What was she doing? No, I'm not frozen. I don't know what's going on. Izzy says you've got my full attention now. Yay, GB Girls won. Congratulations to everyone involved. Not biased by any means, but yay. Camille says the red pops. I thought you'd like the Camille. Good morning, Rani. How are you doing, my lovely? Right, let's get making. Again, I'll show you them down on the mat. I'll pop the necklace down in the red colourway as well, or I'll show them just so you can see these lovely kind of wave motifs that we've got on those connectors. Hello, Elaine. How are you doing? Welcome. Not missed anything. Just been chatting about the Olympics. Good morning, Pauline. So these are the Ashley crystal sets. Really, really gorgeous. You're making pendants and necklace. You're getting 2 in each one. So you can make 2 necklaces and you can make 2 pairs of earrings, and they are a fabulous price of £6.99. So you can choose all these colours. Just to show you the difference between this green and that green. So this one here that I'm picking up now is the darker green. This is the opaque. They've still got that kind of shimmery finish. They would also look very nicely mixed. So if you wanted to mix and multi-buy your sets, you absolutely can. I'm going to put them on the bust so they don't tangle up, just to make myself a little bit of space. I've showed you that one. I've showed you this one. But you've got those lovely connectors. So you've got the 5x1 and you've for the pendant, and you've got the 3 into 1. So what that means is 1 loop at the top, making it perfect to hang from a chain or an earring, and then your loops at the bottom to attach your tassels. So all I'm going to do is just start making some pins. I'll show you this beautiful blue one. That would look delightful with that. They look nice full, don't they? You could, of course, if you wanted to add more chain. So you've got a kit of 2, haven't you? Or making 2. If you didn't want to make 2, but you wanted to make them fuller, you can add an extra piece of chain onto those jump rings and you could fill them up that way. So in terms of the crystals, how I'm placing them, I'll keep one out just to refer back to it. For the crystal chain, for the pendant, what I am doing is I'm cutting little lengths of chain and I'm cutting them into different amounts. So for the pendant, which is the only one I'm adding the chain to, I've got 7 links, then 12 links of chain, then 15 links of chain, and then going back up. So another 12 and then another 7. And then on my crystals, I'm going to be adding 6 crystals, 7 crystals, 8 for the center, 7 and then 6. So what you could do is you could double them up if you wanted to create a more fuller look with adding the extra chain. For the earrings, I'm not adding the chain for the earrings. I am simply just adding the crystals on, and they're going directly with using the pins onto those loops. So for the earrings, I've got 6 crystals, 8 crystals and 6 crystals. You could make them longer, you could make them smaller, you could make them all the same length if you wanted to, whichever you prefer. Joanne says gymnastics, and she won gold in her competitions. She loved it. Of course, she's finally gone on to have 2 beautiful children, and it's the happiest she's ever been. Well, they're more precious than any Olympic gold, aren't they, Joanne? But wow, what a woman. Right, okay, let's get making. So in terms of the pendant, let's do the pendant then first. So all I'm going to be doing is cutting my lengths of chain. I will show you how to cut the chain, but you can put these onto whichever lengths you want. So I'm using 7 links to begin with. What I often do is I'll pop a little pin in, and then I'll count my links. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I then take the 8th one and I tend to open that up. So to do that, I'm going to be taking 2 pairs of pliers. You can, if it's quicker and easier for you, just cut it. But this chain is not soldered. So I'm going to take the point that I want. I'm going to find the opening in it. It isn't soldered, is it? You're going to need good light and not a camera under your face. And then you can just open it up like a jump ring. If you want and it's quicker, you can just take your cutters and you can cut that 8th link or the link above what you need. Then just take hold of it and open it up like that. So I'm going to be taking 2 of the same because I want 7 here and 7 there. 12, 12 and a 15. So if I want to get exactly the same size, sometimes if you're multi-making, I will then take the pin and I'll pop it through the top link of the chain, and I can measure it out by eye as well if I want to, and I know to cut it there or where they're about. All I'm going to be doing then is adding on my jump rings. So I've got the 4x7 outer diameter jump rings, which means they're a little bit smaller and a little bit thinner. So usually if I'm using, say, a 6x1 outer diameter, if I hold these up, you'll see the difference. Can you see how they're a thicker gauge? You can't when there's stuff on the mat, can you? There you go. So these ones are a thicker gauge. These ones are the 4x7. Open them up just like I would any other jump ring, nice and sturdy, and then going to slide it on to the jump ring and then attach it to my pendant connector loop. I tend to cut the chain first, but you can do whichever way you want. So in terms of the links, I'm going 7, 12, 15, 12 and 7. Of course, if you would rather just measure it out and say I want a centimetre here, I want so many millimetres there, I would say 7 links is bob on 1 centimetre. For 12 links in this chain, it's just coming up to 2 centimetres, maybe a little bit less. Let me just line that up now. 1.5, and then for the 15 is 2 centimetres. So cut your chain lengths, try and make them equal onto both sides. So that one and that one, and that one mirror each other, and then the longer one. That's going to create that staggered effect. And then I'm just going to add my crystal pins. So for the outer one, I would like just 6. So I'm going to pick up my pin and I'm going to add 6 of my crystals on. And then all I'm going to do is turn a loop. Now you can do a wrapped loop with this. I'll probably show you how to do both. If I'm just turning a loop, it means I can open that loop again. If I'm doing a wrapped loop, it's fully closed and it's permanently closed. So you need to make sure you're adding your chain length in as you go with that. So I'm just going to bend my pin at the top into a 90-degree angle above the crystals. If I'm just turning a loop, not making a wrapped loop, then I don't want much space between the crystal and where I've bent that pin. And then I'm going to come in with the cutters and I'm going to trim, leaving about 1 centimetre from that bend to where my cutters. I'm using the flush side of the cutter and I'm just trimming off, holding on to that pin so it doesn't fly away. I'm now going to pop it into my round nose pliers. You could use a looper tool with this if you wanted to. but I'm going to use my round nose pliers. I'm going to make it nice and flush so there's no pin sticking out the back. So when I turn it, the whole pin will turn. I'm going to support that crystal underneath my thumb against my finger, give it a little flick up, reposition my wrist, and then little tiny rotations all the way around until that loop is sitting nicely and flush at the top of my crystal beads. And then all I would need to do is open it by giving it a little flick up, and then I'm going to attach it to the last link on the outer chain, and then making sure it's nicely closed up again. So I want this point to touch itself so it doesn't come loose. So I'm going to add 6 on to that one. And then I want to add 7 on in exactly the same way. And then in the middle, I'm going to add 8. So I'm going to take 8 crystals. Oh, here comes the rain. Don't know whether you can hear that on my window. It's very heavy. And I'm concerned that bag, if it's still there, which I don't know, I think it may have gone. Just as well, because it's going to disintegrate in this weather. I'm going to add 8 onto the centre. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Gosh, can you hear it banging on my window? So again, I'm just going to bend the pin right on top of the crystal. Come in with my pliers and trim off, leaving about 1 centimetre. Heather's saying she's loving the green and the silver. Fairness Born says we've had a few well-known sports people from Barrow, but no Olympians. There's a statue on our main road to Emlyn Hughes, who played football, or soccer for those in the US, for Liverpool and England. There you go. My mum's cousin used to play for Liverpool football team as well. I think it's a cousin. It's on the Irish side of the family. Ronnie Whelan, I think his name was. That's my my sporting claim to fame. To be fair, I used to work in a school many moons ago, which had Liverpool Football Academy attached to it. So I was there when Raheem Sterling was playing and whatnot. I've met quite a few footballers. To be honest, I don't really follow football that much. I used to. I'm not. As you can tell, I'm probably not very sporty. My wrists are really strong, though. You want to see the action my hands get when making jewellery. So I'm just feeding those crystals on. So we've got our 6, our 7, our 8, another 7. Just giving it a little flick up, making sure it's attached onto the last link of the chain. And this chain's lovely. It's strong, it's delicate, if that makes sense. That's a bit of an oxymoron, isn't it? It's fine, but it's strong. And as long as my loops are fully turned back in, there you go. So that is my tassel pendant. Just to reiterate how many links: 7 links, 12 links, 15 links, 7 links, 12 links again, and then 7 links, and my crystals are 6, 7, 8, 7, 6. So it's got that lovely tapered look to it. You can as well, if you wanted to, put a little bit of shape into these pins. So if you wanted to bend them outwards, you can do that. But I quite like them just hanging down straight. Then I would take a little piece of chain, however long you want. I've gone for about 45 centimeters, I think, here. But you can add whatever length you want. You're going to get your chain in your kit as well. And all I'm going to do is open up my jump ring. And again, attaching on through the last link, and then adding on my clasp. So I'm adding a little lobster clasp to this, making sure that jump ring's nice and closed and fully aligned. And then the same on the other side, but without the lobster clasp. And then before I put this on, actually, I'm going to add my pendant on. So to add on my pendant, I'm going to take my jump ring. I'm going to get lots of support on either side of the jump ring. Where it opens, I'm going to give it a little turn towards me to open it up so slightly. And then I'm going to hook that through the link on the top of the pendant. So the pendant bar has got 5 loops on the bottom. And then I can just hook that through the chain and then close it over. And then on the other side of my chain, I'm going to attach another jump ring for my clasp. So a little turn towards me to open it up, threading that on through the last link. Let's put the pliers down. So I just tend to push it against my finger just to guide it in, and then close. And again, the lovely thing about making your own jewellery is if you think, oh, I want that chain much smaller, you just cut a smaller length. It's, you know, easily adjustable for how you want it. So that is how this necklace will look. You've got that lovely pendant just dangling down. Oh, Heather says she's a swimmer, but she's never been good enough for a competition. I like swimming, Heather. I'm not good enough for a competition either. I used to run. Now, if you see me running, something's chasing me, run along too. Right, earrings, really straightforward. I'm just not adding the chain this time. So I'm going to add my little connectors, and for the earrings I would like 6 crystals, 8 crystals and 6 crystals again on each one. So I'm going to take my pin. I will show you how to do a wrap loop as well if you'd prefer. I'm just going to do 10 loops on these and attach them directly. I'm not going to be adding the jump rings, but of course you could do if you wanted to. So I'm going to add 6 crystals on. Sliding them onto the pin, letting them fall right down to that little ball at the bottom. Now, if I was making a wrap loop, what I would do, I would put my round nose pliers at the very top of the crystal. I would then bend the pin over the top of the round nose pliers, over those jaws. What that does is it creates a little bit of space between the crystal and between the pin. And then when I reposition my hand, my jaws of the pliers are now above and below the pin. I bring the pin all the wire all the way around and reposition again. I then tend to swap into my less dominant hand just to bring that all the way. And then I give it a little tilt up. Now the reason why I'm giving it a little tilt up is, one, to straighten that loop above the crystal, but also to create a bit of a lift within that pin. Because what I do then is I keep my round nose pliers in. I would then attach the chain. So if I've got a little piece of chain that I'm using to attach onto the pendant, I would just thread the chain. Again, I'd make sure it's the last link, and I would just slide that into the loop. Because once I've wrapped this pin, it can't be reopened without breaking it. You've got that full secure closure. So then I would just carry on as normal, and then I can attach that on. If I wanted to do wrap loops on my earrings, then I'll just take that chain off. I would do the same. I would add the connector instead. You can add the chain on as well if you wanted to, but I would just give it a little lift up, just that little loop that I've started to form, just enough to slide the connector on, and then I will continue to wrap the loop. If you were adding a jump ring to it, then you could make your wrap loop as normal and then open it up with a jump ring. But the point with the wrap loop is it creates that really secure closure. So having the jump ring just doesn't defeat the object, but it will give you a little bit of extra length. So now the pin is facing up. I've got my pliers on the end of it, and I'm just going to wrap. So I'm bringing it round the back and then round the front. Now, because I've lifted that wire up, you'll notice as I wrap my pin around, it's really close to the top of that loop. There's no gaps. And then as I'm bringing the pin or the wire round, I'm bringing it below the last wrap. So the wraps aren't going like overlapping each other. There you go. I'm doing little half turns, so I'm bringing it up and over and then round the back, and that's just moving down. So I would wrap the space to fill between the loop and the bead. That's probably about three wraps, and trim. Oh, I don't know why that's done that. I heard it bleep and thought, what's going on? Right, let's... Sorry, just want to get that window out the way so you can see what I'm doing. There you go. Am I froze? Okay, so I've trimmed off that little bit of pin, and then I would tuck in the end. So you can see there's a tiny bit sticking up. See that little bit there? So sometimes I'll pop my pliers back in the loop just to give myself a little bit of purchase, and then I'll just take my pliers and making sure I'm not putting pressure on the top of the crystal or the bead. I don't want to snap that or chip it. I'm just tucking in. So you see I just went with my pliers and give it a little twist around just to tuck that little end in. So if you wanted to do a wrap loop, that's how you'd do a wrap loop. I don't really feel I need to do the wrap loop. I'm just turning the loop, but it's there if you want to do it. So then I would do 6 and 8 crystals, and then 6 crystals again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I'm turning the loop, I'm just bending close down, so I've not got any space or much space between that bend. Heather says, I met Sharon Davies briefly after a sponsored swim when I was 8. I have met Beth Twiddle, who's a gymnast, and my niece has done a gymnastics workshop with her, which I was very excited about. I've danced with Adam Garcia, which I know isn't an Olympian, but that was fun. Who else have I met? Just name dropping people now. People will be like, who? Yeah, I did meet a few gymnasts and stuff when I was little. And Sue Smith, who is I think she used to play football for England. She is she does like sports commentating now. She lives in the village just next to me, so she's like our local celeb. Oh, and Paddy Pimlett, the fighter, he lives there too, so I've seen him walking his dog. Very exciting. I wonder if anyone goes, oh, do you know that one that makes jewellery and doesn't stop talking? She lives by me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll just do one earring. And then bend. Couldn't be any more straightforward. Nice, quick, fun little make today. These are the Ashley Crystal makes. we're chatting sports. Maybe there'll be a sport for jewellery making, like who can make the most wrapped loops in any given time. Do you think I could enter that? I mean, the Olympics used to do like poetry and all sorts in it, didn't it? It was a variety, and we've had the odd new sport added. Let's not forget the break dancing. 4, 5, 6. So for the earrings, I'm not adding any chain. I'm adding 6 pins, 8 pins, and 6 crystals. Not pins. I'm just having 3 pins on each earring to attach those 3 loops. Bending to make sure my loop, when I roll it, rolls nice and neatly on the top, so it's sitting above that crystal. I'm just eyeing up whereabout I'm going to turn that loop. You can, if you want, mark with like a little marker pen where you're turning, or you can use like your bail step pliers, and then they will turn exactly the same size loops. But they're there or thereabouts. I mean, that's bob on. Camille says, I was a sprinter many, many moons ago. Now I only walk very slowly around the shops. My mum says, me too, Camille. Yeah, I like walking. I don't really do any running anymore. My sister's very good. She does like the gym, and she does like kettlebells, and she always goes for a walk. Not just necessarily for a physical health, but just for a mental health, or she'll go for a run. And as I say, this weekend I did a little bit of walking in nature, and it was much, much enjoyed. So I'm just now opening up those loops because they're not wrap loops. They're just turned loops, and I'm threading them on. And it's made that bleep again, which means it's going to kick me off and show you the website, I think. What's going on? All I need to do now is just attach my ear wire. So I'm not going to put a little jump ring on these. I'm just directly putting it onto the ear wire. To do so, I'm going to flick up that little loop ever so slightly, just a tiny little bit, sliding that on, and then closing it over, just like I would do a jump ring, just moving it back again. Open, away from me, towards me to close. And there is my earring, so I'll just duplicate that now. So that is my gorgeous Ashley set. Don't forget, today you're making 2 sets, or you're getting enough to make 2 sets in whichever colour you choose. So I have them all for you today for your £6.99. This one that I demonstrated was the silver cloud, but we've got the opaque red, the opaque green, the dark green, and the sky blue as well. So head over to totallybeads.co.uk and you can see, which one you like. I'm gonna bring myself up and I'm gonna show you an earring so you can see the length. Yolanda, hello. She says, good morning, everybody. So late. Kids didn't have school today. They're on half term as well, which is so how the earring will sit at this length. Of course, if you want them longer, just add in more crystals. If you want them smaller, add in less crystals. If you want them all the same length, add on the same amount of crystals. They're really lightweight, really pretty. I do like these connectors. And your pendant will, depending on the length of the chain, sit how you would like it to. Oh, it'll get lost on this top. So they're the Ashley crystal necklaces. I'm going to be back with you on Wednesday. And on Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a live with you, which I was meant a fortnight ago now. It'll be a fortnight ago. Yeah. So I'm going to be doing those necklaces with you on Wednesday. They're really pretty. They've got lots and lots of colour and sparkle and twinkle, looking at different shapes. It's a nice easy stringing makeup. I'm using really gorgeous components in that. So that's what I'm going to be doing with you on Wednesday. If you can join me then, I'll be with you at 10 a.m. UK time. Fairness Born says these are very pretty. Thank you, Natalie. You're very, very welcome. I'm just listening to all the sports stuff. Rachel says our more recent local sport hero is Georgia Stanway, who plays with the England women's football team. I bet you there's all sorts of people that live next to you, isn't there? But, you know, there's lots of wonderful people. I'm going to have odd earrings in now. Lots of wonderful people. You don't have to be sporty. You've all got your own skills, and here it's jewellery. So if you would like to share your makes, we don't give out gold medals, but we do give out praise. So if you want to join the Totally Leeds Handmade group, yeah, I'm wearing them today, then you can share your makes there and we'll all have a good nosy. Jen says, lovely design with a feel of Roman gypsy look. They are quite Roman, I suppose. They're very pretty. Kath says they are very pretty earrings. Well, I hope you like the pendants as well, Kath. She says goodbye to everybody. I hope you have a really lovely start to the week. I hope you all had a really nice weekend. And if you had celebrated Valentine's Day, then I hope you were feeling the love. And I look forward to seeing you again on Wednesday. So take care, everybody.